What's up, guys? Mystic Xtreme here, and I'm playing Black Rose again. Now, I say it that way because when you die or when you exit out of the game, it starts you all the way back at the beginning. So I've had to go through like 5 times just to get to basically where we left off last episode. I'm kind of cursing myself right now for not continuing the playthrough, but at the same time, I couldn't handle anymore. So without further ado, we're going to continue with this episode, episode 3, and I'm going to take a look at this note on the floor by this lock I'm about to unlock.
Ever since my first day working here, I've felt a little strange. Now, after what happened that day, things seem to be getting even stranger. I'd even go so far as to say creepy. I've been an embalmer for years now, and I'm very passionate about my job. I've always felt comfortable with what I do, so it's pretty unusual that I feel this way. 2 of my colleagues have died. I had to embalm them both.
Yo!
However, grief can't explain this feeling. Up until just 4 days ago, I hadn't even known about the history of this funeral home. I already knew that it was ridiculously old, but what I didn't know was that it allegedly harbors some kind of powerful aura which traps and torments the spirits of people who have died in a state of grief or fear, and have at some point been associated with the building in one way or another. These associations apparently include those occurring post-mortem, such as embalmings and funerals.
Alright, all the freakiness that has left me in the last week, or even in the last 5 minutes since I've gotten to this point, has returned, because that was something I didn't read before. Alright, what the? Oh, that's a new ghost. That's a new ghost. And he went this way. I don't want to go. I already don't want to go. I already got goosebumps all over me. I locked Myrtle in the coffin. I'm shutting that daggone door. Why? What was that? He was walking away from this way, which was where I tried to hide the last time we had an episode. Pain and suffering has worked their bodies. I don't want to see their bodies. I don't. I really don't. All over again. Why did I come here? Again. Oh, there he is. I have to go that way, because that's the way he's going. There's something on the bulletin board. There was not anything on the bulletin board last time. What does it say? Mrs. Raines, please tell your son to stop playing under the tables during funeral services. It's disruptive and upsetting to the grieving families. Today he also stole one of the keys to the visitation room, and was later attempting to open one of the drawers in the morgue. Oh! No! Don't do that. Don't do that. This type of behavior is unacceptable and will not be tolerated. If you do not start controlling him, I will take it upon myself to personally teach him a lesson. Michael. Honestly, oh no. No. Like, I can't even express how much I have wrong with this. Like, the kid should not be playing around in the funeral home, in my opinion. I mean, if you own a funeral home and you have a child, I guess that's understandable. But to bring the dead bodies, and this is just not my thing. It's really not. Yeah. That kid should not be coming to work. That's all I gotta say. And what kind of lesson are you going to teach him, Michael? Is that you I'm following through this? And the door opened. I didn't want to go into a new area. I wanted to go outside. I wanted to go outside and be outside, and there's a waiting room in here with dead flowers and a lamp and another note and drawers, and there's going to be a ghost. There's going to be a ghost if I look at that note. I know it. I know it.
To make things even weirder, this place has a serious lockdown system. Yesterday was the first time I've ever seen it used, and many of the workers, including myself, were ordered to wait in the family room until the situation was taken care of. No one I've spoken to about it knows why it was done, or at least they won't say. All I know is that these safety glass windows and electronic gates appear to be designed for keeping things in rather than out.
The family door's room is warped shut. Does that mean that there's a whole bunch of dead bodies in the family room, and they're the ones that were warped as well? Oh God, what if it flooded? Glass windows and electronic. I don't want to go. I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to know this mystery anymore.
I was the first responder that day. I was the first and only person to make it to Myrtle's side before she passed away. She managed to give Sullivan a parting "I love you" on that baby monitor, but that was the last communication they ever had. The last thing she ever did was give me that piece of paper. It was a short poem she had written for Sullivan earlier that day. She asked me to give it to him, and I promised her I would. Then she slipped away. I guess Sullivan had picked up by Myrtle's weak rasping in the baby monitor that something was happening to her, because soon after she'd passed, he came running into the hall from the upstairs arrangement room. But he was too late. She was gone. That's when he broke down. I'd never seen him show so much emotion towards Myrtle before. Then, of course, the rest happened. I'll keep my promise, even now. It's all I can do for my dear friends.
What promise? Wait. What is going on here? Okay, that was Myrtle. Whoops, I bumped the mic. Myrtle was part of the staff here? Right. And Sullivan is her love. Sullivan might be the guy that I'm following around, or it might be the guy who wrote these notes. So, the person who wrote the note about the paper black rose was Myrtle, and that was the note we saw earlier that this guy is supposed to give to Sullivan, right? Did I hear that right? They asked me to give it to him, wrote the poem. It wasn't a poem, was it? I don't remember it sounding like a poem. Anyway, so upstairs arrangement room, came running into the hall. Did she die in I am so afraid to click continue here. Like, I really hope there's more note. There's not. Everything is black. It's saving now. Oh my God, what? What? That was the first save. I'm gonna be playing this game forever. Is there anything in these drawers? No. I'm gonna die as soon as I open that door. I know it. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna freak me out. And there's gonna be ghosts. Like, it's gonna be like Ghostbusters up in here, but not funny. Not in the funny way. Alright, so... Wow. So it's saved! Yeah. I don't like the fact that it's saved. I thought there was no save feature. But no, I just didn't make it far enough to get a save. Okay. At least, should I open this door and die immediately next episode, I can pick it right back up here and not have to go through locking the coffin and all that other stuff that I had to do. I seriously thought I was near the end of the game. I really, really did, and it upsets me a little bit that I'm not. Um, Luckily, we're about episode length, so let's see what happens when we open the door. We find another note here. There are a lot of strange things I've seen around this place. For instance, the fireplace that isn't even a real fireplace. It's some kind of ladder shaft, but there's a tough metal grate fastened over it that appears to be controlled electronically, most likely by the lockdown system. I'm assuming the shaft leads down to the basement, but it must have been sealed off because it's not accessible from anywhere down there. Another thing I've started wondering about is the metal handle that's been sitting on Michael's desk for about a month now. I asked about it once out of curiosity, but he avoided giving me a direct answer. He told me it broke off of something. I had already assumed this, seeing as it's covered in dirt and rusted around the edges where it had clearly been attached to something for a very long time. Perhaps the biggest mystery I've encountered here is the place Myrtle always went for privacy. Okay, so these are all things that people were writing down when Myrtle was still alive. And when she died, from the note that we saw in the visitation room. I think that's the visitation room that we were in. Anyway, so the fireplace on the way to the viewing room one isn't really a fireplace, but it's a ladder. Okay, that room with the code outside the store makes sense now, because there's this like lockdown system. It's supposed to keep things in, and it has been for a while. Like, there's something going down with this location, and it doesn't start with Myrtle. Myrtle was our introduction to it. Maybe she's trying to keep us away from it. Maybe I should let her back out of her coffin so she can kill me again. Like, if there's some stuff that's worse than Myrtle, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see Myrtle's face again. I'd be happy with that. I don't know if Michael is the dude. Well, we know Michael's the one who is trying to control the lady's kid and might have tried to teach him a lesson. Hopefully it was not a horrific lesson. Hopefully it was his ABCs. I know it wasn't his ABCs, but I'm trying to look on the bright side of life. And death. And everything in between, which is where I'm at right now, in between life and death. Alright, enough rambling. Oh, there's more note. Yay! More rambling. She was often depressed, so she was always going into the downstairs hall on her way to wherever it was she went to be alone. However, she seemed to vanish. The only place she could have gone from that hallway is down into the basement, but I went down there one day to ask her something and I couldn't find her. I'm wondering if there's a secret room somewhere down there. After all, I did learn from Michael that this building is from the 1600s. Long before it was ever a funeral home. Buildings as old as this one sometimes have quite a few secret areas. So there's probably a secret room down there, which makes absolute sense. I've got to go down by where I locked her in her coffin, but not down those stairs to try to find a secret area. And then there's a secret below the fireplace. And I'm still upstairs. And I have to go through this place with all of its ghosts. And is that another note? Did something flash? God! They still haven't buried them. Sullivan has been laying in his coffin now for 2 days and Myrtle for 3. Because Conrad refused to touch Myrtle's coffin after her funeral. It had to be put aside so Sullivan could have his. Conrad still simply doesn't want to have anything to do with the burial of either of them, even if all he's doing is preparing a future grave without actually touching the coffins. I'm starting to wonder if he had some type of unpleasant encounter with Myrtle and Sullivan's coffins or heard some absurd rumor about their corpses. What's sad is that Myrtle and Sullivan don't have relatives who care enough about their burials to actually do something about this. Michael was embarrassed to have to tell all the relatives and friends that the actual burials couldn't be held yet. Even so, none of them objected. Maybe they just didn't see a point in doing so, considering the person they would be doing for is already gone. I don't know. Who are all of these people? We've got Michael, we've got Sullivan, we've got Myrtle. We've got Lady and her kid. Was it Rosa? I don't know. I'm sure you know because you just saw me talk about her a little bit ago. We've got Conrad. I'm guessing Conrad would be the gravedigger. Myrtle, I don't know what her job was, but she found the secret entrance, and her and Sullivan had something going on. She died somewhere. Sullivan was upstairs in a visitation room, ran downstairs, found her. The person writing these notes, who is, or does this have anything about Michael? This person writing this note might be Michael, who might have been the one who found Freak, who was the first responder for Myrtle. Maybe. Just because I don't know his name and it was a dude's voice reading. Next. Okay, as far as feeling nervous around coffins, I do get a strange vibe now in the visitation room. The atmosphere there is starting to feel different. The air feels heavier, a little bit oppressive even. It seems to be more noticeable today than it was yesterday. I'm not quite sure if I believe in ghosts or not, but it seems to fit what I've heard before about locations having uncomfortable negative energy due to evil or extremely upset spirits. Maybe it's just normal stuffy air. There aren't any windows in there, and it is the middle of summer. No, it's ghosts. It's totally ghosts. Obviously. And I'd be upset if I wasn't getting buried. If I was left to rot in some place. All they did was move her freaking coffin so that they could have Sullivan's funeral. And that's probably Sullivan's coffin in a visitation room with 2 locks on it. What is wrong with me? Why am I here still? Is Sullivan the ghost I saw wandering around? I'm going down now to see if I can find the secret room. Okay, I cannot find it. I'm leaving. I don't want to be here. I'm gonna get out of the funeral home. I can't get out of the funeral home. Oh my gosh. Alright, looks like that handle thing might have broken off over here. That was on Michael's desk, which is sure to be in here. I don't know what I need to do now. Did it get dark again? Oh, lovely. I didn't have sound before, and now I do. Because I turned it down. It definitely got darker. So there's a secret room in here somewhere. and I don't know how to get to it. Man. Oh, I wonder if the family room is... Nope, still can't get in there. Maybe there's something in this room now? I don't know why I'm actively seeking to find these ghosts. Because I really don't want to. I'll be for real. Like, I still just want to leave. Oh my gosh, this episode has been going on way too long. There's been a lot of reading going on this episode. I should probably honestly cut it off here. I really should. Just because it's really long. So we couldn't make this episode the last episode. So this is just going to be episode 3. Episode 4 I will be releasing next Friday. I'll be playing it tomorrow from the time that you see this. I had to take a week off between these things because it freaks me out so much. This episode, happily, I'm not freaked out at the end of it. So maybe, you know, I'll be able to begin next episode without being so freaked out. Anyway, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more, come back next week and hit that subscribe button down below. Because I'm going to keep making videos and I'd love to have you along for the ride. I'll see you next time. Peace.